drop your name in the chat and tell us where you're from without telling us where you're from by putting in a dish. So we got some New York folks in the house, Kentucky, DC. Who got that red beans and rice?
Did you guess what? Okay, so I put where I was from, not where I'm at.
Wait a minute, what did you say?
I said burnt ends. Did you guess what that was?
Kansas City.
There you go.
Ah, okay. We got Kansas City in the house. All right. The red beans, that's New Orleans, I'm assuming. Coffee, milk. Huh, what is this? I do not know. That's not New Jersey, is it? No?
And Family Guy.
We got a Rhode Island and a Boston. Which one is it?
The Rhode Island.
Okay.
Did I get it right? I got it right.
But...
Yeah, you got it right.
Yes.
I love it.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. For those that are just joining us, we're going to get started in just a hot second, but we still want you to be able to check in with or participate in our check-in. And so drop your name in the chat and tell us where you're from without telling us where you're from by dropping a dish in the chat. All right? I'm loving this. And y'all making me hungry too.
Who owns okra and tomatoes though? Who owns okra and tomatoes?
Is that Charleston? I mean, South Carolina maybe?
Oh, South Carolina maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, okay. So we're all over. All over, okay. Well, welcome y'all. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hello, can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, it froze up for a second. So thank you all for joining us tonight. We have a lot to unpack in this Zoom, so I want us to jump right on into it and give us enough time for questions and answers too. So if Marwood, if you could start showing the slide, please.
Yeah, a second. Just trying to get it up here.
And shout out to Marwan. He's like our tech tonight. He was playing, he had the vibes going on. Some good music.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Come on. Y'all keep talking. I got.
Well,
Right.
let's try to get some more of these. So I just saw one that's beef patties. And I would have said like Jamaica or something, but.
Yeah. I live near some great beef patties.
I would have said Jamaica. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brooklyn. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, I'm in Brooklyn too. Whoever that is. I live in Brooklyn too.
So y'all need to connect.
Exactly.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn in the house.
All right. So we got folks from all over. We got some East Coast folks. I think, was I the only West Coast person? Yeah.
Well, who did tacos? Who said tacos? I feel like I saw the tacos, which could be anywhere.
I'm the tacos.
Yeah, I mean, that could be Texas too.
But I said good tacos, so San Antonio.
I'm feeling a little attacked right now. I must say.
I'm gonna have to object.
But if I'm honest, I would say cheesecakes because I'm a New Yorker. So
okay,
there you go.
I said,
Nothing like a New York cheesecake.
All right. Well, welcome, y'all. I'm so excited that we are doing our Eat the Culture kickoff event and super excited that all of you all are here with us tonight. So welcome. This is the first of many events, and we're looking forward to seeing how everything unfolds. And you can head to our next slide. So a really quick run through of our presentation today. We're going to be going over the background of Eat the Culture. We're going to be talking about what's cooking this year, a little bit about this ebook that we have planned, the purpose of our video course, next steps, timeline, and how we want to grow a little bit with this Eat the Culture community. And then we'll have some time for questions and answers because I'm sure there's going to be some questions that come up. And just for a little housekeeping, because we have an hour to do this, but if questions come up for you all, if you could just drop those in the chat if they're coming up for you before we get the question and answer, because I know sometimes, we can forget. So just drop that question in the chat. We have folks check in the chat for questions, and then we'll be able to come to them once we get to our question and answer session. All right. All right. So what is Eat the Culture? We've been talking about this for a couple of days now. So what is Eat the Culture? Next slide, please. So our purpose is to create community-centered spaces that nurture, support, and amplify Black culinary creators and the culinary history and heritage across the African diaspora. And really, y'all, this Eat is to elevate us, A is to activate us, and T is to teach. So it's really about how are we elevating all the amazing work that we're doing? How are we getting more media attention for what we're doing? Because all y'all are creating some dope work. How are we activating ourselves to do different things in the community, in this food community and beyond? And then how are we teaching? How are we cultivating and growing and honing our skills to do this work? So next up, just a little bit of history of some of the other collaborations. Oh, excuse me, I'm going too fast. First, I want y'all to meet the team. And we have some amazing food creators that are part of this team. We have Gio from Gio's Table, Marwin from Food Fidelity, Moi from Savor and Sage, Marta, who is Sense and Edibility, Miko from Miko and the Dish, and Jasmine from Dash of Jazz blog. So feel free to ask any of us questions, hit us up if you have anything. Now we're going to go into a little bit of history and past collabs, and I'm going to turn it over to Miko.
Hey, everybody. I'm super excited to see so many people here. I'm super juiced right now. But yeah, let's start off with a little bit of history. So I am a food blogger over at Miko and the Dish, but I'm also one of the original founders of the Black History Month virtual potluck. We started it back in 2017, me and Aaron of the Hungry Hutch. We had an inkling of a hunch that if we were to join forces, that our collective social equity as Black food bloggers would help us get into doors, particularly media outlets, that we didn't see ourselves in, right, on a regular basis, or would help us see more stories, more Black culinary food stories that we weren't seeing. And we were right. And ever since then, we have been, producing these collaborations and serving as a major content machine for major outlets for Black History Month and for Juneteenth. But, even in times when I maybe felt like, gosh, like this is a lot of work, like I don't want to do it. One of the things that was always revealed was the need, because when I wasn't showing up, you guys made me show up. And many of you guys have been under Eat the Culture or have worked with Eat the Culture, and you didn't know it was Eat the Culture, right? Because we didn't know it was Eat the Culture. But it has continued to evolve into something that is a need and that is demanded from this community that I personally love serving. And for me, I've always tried to figure out ways, how can we continue to elevate this? How can we continue to build our businesses? Because the reality is, the playing field is not equal. The reality is there are closed groups that share information that don't share it out to us. And it's been that way, whether it's within the food space or any other industry. We know how it is. And what we need to do is try to level the playing field by creating resources and essentially creating our own table. And that is what Eat the Culture is, us creating our own table. So I'm super excited to be working with some of the most amazing and the most talented bloggers who have not only helped me since the beginning, but have jumped on board on this team to continue to evolve this idea, this thing that organically has risen up, that, like I said, allows us to serve as a major content machine for major outlets. And I hope it continues, like, Stephanie said, to not only be a resource for outlets, but be a resource for you, and allow us to provide resources to help us all collectively build our businesses together. This is a collective, essentially. And so, we've operated, in Juneteenth, we've operated in Black History Month, consistently. And now we're hoping to open the doors for holiday so we can kind of move on to the next slide. But, our next big idea, it goes beyond just, a listicle, goes beyond just getting inside of the doors of media and sharing recipes, but we want to really tap into that elevation and figure out ways to not only do that, but also challenge us to grow. And so this is what's next, our holiday challenge, which is a video challenge, where we are asking all participants to create video, but also it's going to eventually work itself into a book. And so I won't spill all of the beans. We do have a little video that we want to share that kind of highlights what the big idea is. So Gia, I'll let you take the floor.
All right, thanks, Miko. So if we go to the next slide, we can give you a preview of our promo video. I don't hear the sound. Does anybody hear sound?
I don't hear sound either.
Okay.
I hear sound.
There we go.
Okay, let's start it over.
So that is the promo video. And I just want to say, similar to what Miko said, is that I'm honored to work with the other Black food bloggers who put this together for Eat the Culture. And when I say we've been meeting for the past, I want to say 3 to 4 months, every Wednesday night, it's my favorite meeting of the week, to put together Eat the Culture, to come up with this video challenge, and to plan the cookbook. And in the next section, I'm just going to give a little more information about the video challenge itself, the tools that we have to support that video challenge, and then a little more about what we're looking for in the e-cookbook. So we can go to the next slide. Before we get there, though, Stephanie, I'm doing like you. Before I get there, I'm ahead of myself. We did, so because we have been doing this for so long, and Miko, you gave a great history on that, we did want to hear from some past participants, because I think one question a lot of people ask is, if I'm going to do a video, if I'm going to create a recipe for this cookbook, what's in it for you. So we've asked a couple people to chime in on their experience in the past with the collaboration and how it's benefited them. So is Shanae on the call?
Shanae's not, but Kenneth Temple is. And
He is.
since Boo is here, can Kenneth just like do an ad lib? Kenneth, please.
Yes. What ad lib you need me to do? What's handing with it? What's going on?
Given some background on your experience in the past collaborations and how it's benefited you.
I mean, it's just great to be able to get in front of these Food 52s, and we always trying to tag them to get that publication. But once you participate, you can take the fact that you have been published on some of these major sites, and then you can use that on your website for your website and your media kit. So as you're going after branded opportunities, you can plug those in and link them, and then they can actually see, okay, you're just not. Even the good thing is, even if you're just starting, you participate, you can have 1,000 followers, 5,000 followers. But if you got a publication in Food 52, these brands look at you with a different eye because you're actually participating in something bigger than yourself. So it's just a great way to beef up your resume and also work with other bloggers and just to see how deep we are. I know Miko's always doing everything, but it's just a great way to collaborate and meet everybody and also add a couple of notches to your belt, to your resume. So it's been truly fun.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. We also have Marwin, who has been working on the Eat the Culture board, and he was also going to share a little bit about his experience.
Yeah, similar to Kenneth, I would say probably two parts. I mean, obviously, you look at the six of us here. I think like our relationships started, back and through our participation and working with Miko on, these Juneteenth and holiday roundups that we were doing. And so, out of that, you got like long, term relationships that were built. And I think the benefit of that, particularly, some of the conversations we have is the whole idea of like iron sharpens iron. I mean, I feel like every time that I engage with, my fellow Black food bloggers, I learn something new, from everybody in different ways. And so I think the more that, we can have, dialogue like our white counterparts, because they look out for each other, I think we can continue to expand our support network, with each other. And certainly I benefited from that. On the technical side, I know you guys are probably familiar with SEO by now, I'm probably tired of it, but I think like, having, some of these, publications and being featured in there as part of these roundups, my expertise and authority, increased. I mean, people, different publications began reaching out, all because of my association with the group and with the events that we were doing. And so I remember just like, I'm still getting a lot of traffic off of like one recipe. It's probably like my, the recipe that receives the highest traffic. It really goes back to, being featured in some of those publications. And it's kind of like a multiplier effect. Like, right, if you get featured in one publication, other people see it, and they also like just see that as like an endorsement. And so they reach out to you to include your work in their publications as well. So it's just, really, kind of compound impact of like being a part of the group. And so I've definitely benefited, both in the technical side, but also just from a relationship, building standpoint.
Great. Thank you. So brand partnership, one, not really brand, but publication partnership, the Food 52s, I think we were in Washington Post, number of different publications. And then also, having been in the collaboration previously myself as well, I think one of the key things is that we learn from each other through this. And I always get exposed to new people. There are a lot of Black food bloggers, and it's nice when we are able to come together. I think, Miko, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think one year we had 70 people participate in it. And it was awesome to see 70 of us come together for a collaboration and really represent the African diaspora and really show the diversity of Black food and that Black food isn't a monolith. So I think this is a great collaboration, and I'm excited to talk a little more about what we plan to do this year and how we plan to take it to the next level. So you saw in the video that part of this year that is different from past collaborations is that we are doing a video challenge. So when we met as a team, are my slides out of order? They should be, I want to go back to the video challenge
I
slide.
think they did get out of order. There we go.
No, we skipped over some, so I was right. I didn't get ahead of myself. I was like, I thought that was slide 9. I was right on. I was like, that was coming at the end. So first, I want to talk a little bit. In the past, we've done the collaborations, which we just talked about, where you submit a recipe and then we do the collaborative article. Well, this year, very similar process, but those articles are going to, or those recipes are going to go into a cookbook. And similar to previous years, what we are looking for is cookbook worthy recipes that are rooted in the African diaspora. And also, we want high quality content that has been, recipes that have already been tested, that are well written, that include high resolution photos, and that will be placed on your blog. And then last but not least, we want a range of courses and a range of diets. So in the past, we want things from entrees to appetizers to desserts to drinks and cocktails. We also want different diet types: vegans, vegetarian, gluten-free, pescatarian. So we just wanted to run the gamut of different types and be able to really, again, showcase the diversity of foods that we eat across the African diaspora. In addition to that, we want you to take that video or that recipe and create a tasty style, craveable video. So I'm sure you've seen them. I think BuzzFeed is the one who originated them, or I think Tasty might be under BuzzFeed, but nonetheless, you've seen them. They're typically shot from above and have some 3/4 shots. And we want you to create a video when you to go along with your recipe. And that is where the video challenge comes in, and that is what we're doing new this year. But when we talked as a group, we realized that everybody has different experience as it relates to food blogging, as it relates to creating video content. I know for myself, I'm trying to grow in that area, and I saw somebody in the chat posted that. So we wanted to be able to give you tools to also be able to create a tasty style video. And that is part of our mission, to amplify, to educate, and to support all Black culinary creators in their growth. So we've created a 3-module course that takes you from the basics of planning your shoot and the type of equipment you need to create a tasty style video. Module 2 will focus on filming, the type of camera angles, and some great lighting tips. And then we round out with a 3rd module that shows you post-production and editing. So we will, you can sign up for that course on the Eat the Culture website, where we'll be sending out that information. And it'll all be available for you this week. So stay tuned for that. What I also wanted to mention is, regardless, we know some people may already have videos with their recipes that they want to submit, and that's okay. But why we are asking everybody to sign up for the course is because included in the course is a workbook that will have our guidelines for submission for the video in particular. So just to make sure that the video is 90 seconds or less, that it has the type of shots that we're asking for, and things of that nature. So we are asking everybody to sign up for the course to make sure that they have the right information to be able to submit their recipe. Right, we can go to the next slide. So we've already covered this, but thank you, Marwin and Kenneth, for giving that. And so the last thing I want to talk about before we get into some Q&A is what's next. So what are the next steps? So the video course kickoff, tonight was us doing our kickoff. And as I said, that the course itself will be ready this week. So if you sign up on eattheculture.com, I think I saw Marta just dropped it in the chat. We will be sending you the course as soon as it's ready. And then if you want to submit to our Eat the Culture video challenge and submit a recipe and a video, those will be due October 10th. You will also get information from that on when you sign up for eattheculture.com. Similar to years past, we always say that we want as many people as possible to submit, but we are limited in how many people we can put in the book. So we will announce final selections by Monday, October 18th. And then we plan to launch the video challenge itself and the holiday cookbook on Tuesday, November 9th. So you'll see we're coming up on that pretty quickly. It's hard to believe. I think that I read we're like 100 days out to the Christmas holiday. So yeah, that is the timeline for submissions, for getting your video to us, and then when we will announce final selections and launch the cookbook. And so now I want to just open the floor for questions, and I'm sure my other ETC members will have answers as well as me if I can't answer it.
Do we have a preference as to how to submit a question? Should it be via the chat, or should people unmute their?
If there were no questions in the chat, if we can have people raise your virtual hands, and that will probably be the easiest way. And then you can unmute yourself once we call on you.
Were there any questions in the chat?
No questions in the chat yet.
All right, well, let's open it up. Do y'all have any questions? I know it's got to be something.
Okay, I'll ask a question.
Okay, and then I also see Crystal raise her hand too.
Okay, so I already know how to create a tasty style video. I'll sign up, but do I have to take the course? Like, is it like a certificate at the end, or can I just submit the video, making sure that it abides by the guidelines?
You can just submit the video as long as it abides by the guidelines. You do have to sign up for the course to get those guidelines. And you are not required to view or take the course. But I will say, from getting a little preview of the course, I think that there's a lot of good information and I learned something new. So even if you are super skilled in video content creation, you might learn something new if you do decide to take the course.
That was a great question. Thank you, Mika.
And I think it's important to note, sorry, just before we get to Crystal's question, that the course is self-paced. So even if you sign up and, you know, get into it and encounter information that you already have, you know, it's not like you have to continue going all the way through. You can even jump to different parts that might be most beneficial to you if you already have a video.
Thanks, Jasmine. That's a great point. All right, Crystal, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
A few questions. So the first one is, oh my God, I always lose my train of thought when I'm about to speak. Can it be an existing recipe that we already have published on our blog, or are you looking for something that is brand new?
It could be something that is already published on your blog, or you can create something brand new. But if you have content that you think would be fitting for this, you can, and it's already on your blog, you are welcome to submit that.
Okay. Also, so my content is very cultural based, but I do do a variety of recipes. I noticed that one of the highlights of this challenge is that you're looking for recipes within the diaspora. So is there a preference, like if somebody is I hate to use the word cultural blogger because we're all cultural bloggers, but if somebody has a cuisine or a certain type of content that is specific to them, is your preference to use that type of recipe in the submission, or is it really up to the blogger?
Can I answer this one? Because I know that Crystal does Cape Verdean cuisine, and I highly encourage you to submit those, because we want to, a part of Eat the Culture's goal is to show the rest of the world that may be not familiar with the culture,
right,
that we span countries, we span cultures, we span languages. This is all about highlighting the African diaspora. So as Cape Verdean, you know, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cuban, Nigerian, we are all African and part of the diaspora, but we may be, you know, established in the States, we may be in a different country. So we highly, highly encourage people to submit recipes that are cultural. And that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, the United States.
Okay, awesome. No, I like that answer very much. And then also, I noticed that in the video, it said that, you know, it kind of highlighted the fact that you don't need fancy equipment for this type of video. If I wanted to shoot the video using a camera rather than a phone, is that welcome, or is it more like the challenge is to actually use your phone? I wasn't sure.
That's actually a really great question. As long as the end video meets our guidelines, you can use whatever vessel, tool, mechanism that you want. Yeah, we really just didn't want to create any barriers. So we were trying to reduce friction for everybody, no matter what level they were at. But if you know how to shoot with camera, please.
I don't, but I have a camera that I've been like, I feel like at some point I need to get comfortable with it. So I will, I feel like I'll choose whatever is going to yield the best results. If, you know, the camera's too intimidating, or I feel like I'm better results on my phone, I'll use that. I just wasn't sure if there was a preference.
I think at the end of the day, our goal is, I think that is the perfect approach. If you already know how to shoot with your phone, but you have a camera you haven't used, try the camera. We want you to challenge yourself to go to the next level. So whatever tool that is that takes you to the next level, use that.
Okay, perfect. I think that's all my questions. Thank you.
Those were awesome questions, Crystal.
Thanks.
Appreciate those a lot.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Any other burning questions for folks? Are y'all excited? Yeah. Okay.
It's a hand raised from.
So Kalisha has her hand raised.
Okay, please ask away.
Hi, yes. So it's been a while since I've been in touch with the group. So thanks for letting me back in. I don't necessarily blog anymore, but I would still like to be a part of the video challenge. So like last year during the pandemic, I kind of like pivoted and I stopped blogging and just started to do more just content creation. So just photography. And now I'm adding on video as far as being a service provider. So is there a way to still participate if I don't necessarily have a food blog to link back to?
This is what I will say. I think that it doesn't matter if you're a food blogger or not to participate. Ultimately, we want you to identify or be Black, have a recipe, use video, and ultimately the recipe needs to link back to a virtual space. So I would say that even if you're not a food blogger, you can participate, but if it's not on the site, and maybe we need clarity, someone else can correct me on this. I do believe one of the specifications that it links back to a digital space.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I have a digital space. It's just not like a food blog.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Kalisha. And Shani, you have a question.
Hi, everybody. First of all, sorry, that was my mic that was unmuted earlier, so apologies. My question is, I'm really just starting. So is there kind of a barrier, or is this something I would consider? Sorry. Oh my God, my house is so noisy. I'm really sorry. I'm really just starting. So is this something that even small bloggers can participate in? I mean, I'm really working hard on growing my following and putting so much into it, and I would love to participate. But I just wonder if you're looking for more experienced bloggers.
I can jump in on that. the reason why we created the course is because we want anybody who's willing, who's up for the challenge, to participate. There should be no reason that if you have the passion and the desire to participate, why you can't. There's no quota for how many followers that you have to have. There's no, limitation or identifier for, the amount of traffic that you need to have. I mean, if you're willing to create the recipe, if you're willing to submit the video, obviously like aligned with what our guidelines are for submission, you can participate. So there's, it doesn't matter your size. We want to help people grow, especially if this is what their desire is. That's what the whole purpose of Eat the Culture is. So I would say there are no limitations in that regard.
Thank you.
No problem.
And we do have a question now in the chat, or a few questions. Can you submit more than one video? Is there a cost to the course? And how many recipes do you anticipate will make it into the final cookbook?
Ooh, those are good questions.
They are.
Okay, so we went back and forth about how many submissions that people could do to make it seamless, and for our deciding in, we recommended, or we limited it to one recipe. I would say that if you submit more than one recipe, you probably wouldn't be represented more than once in the video. So you could probably, like, if you really wanted to just increase your chances, you could submit more than one video, but we will probably only select one because we want to make sure everybody who we feel like, whatever our guidelines are for the selection process, we allow as many people in as possible. So there's probably a way to submit more than one video if you actually go that far, but just be aware that you probably only be represented by one of your recipes in the book. So just keep that in mind. Is there a cost to it? There is no cost. This is absolutely free. No barriers to entry, okay? No friction. There should be no reason why you shouldn't participate if you want to. Also on the note of cost, no one asked this, but I do want to make it clear that we are not making money on this book. We are not charging for this. This is purely a tool, a promotional tool for us to drive attention to our businesses. We are not making money off of this at all. There will be no sponsorships associated at all. So just know that. And then the other question is how many recipes? Okay, we've gone back and forth about that. Right now we're about at 25 recipes with some wiggle room. So we're about at 25 max right now, I think was our selection. And we may have some wiggle room depending on, how many submissions we get.
And then one note for Miko mentioned, if you want to make multiple submissions, the form will only allow for one recipe and video per form. So you would just need to submit the form for any additional things you want considered.
Good call out.
All right. So I see Crystal had her hand up first, and then Muriel, you'll go after that.
My one other question. Are you looking for something that is like traditionally like a holiday type of recipe? I wasn't sure. Does it have to be specifically holiday or something that's at least served around holidays? Yes. Oh no, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so
go ahead, Jasmine.
I was gonna say, so yeah, with it being a holiday ebook, we are having like that kind of theme.
Right.
But as Martha mentioned from your question earlier, that varies depending on your culture or your location. So it's not just, the kind of traditional quote unquote American holiday recipes. We want to see what that means for you, for your family, for your culture.
Okay, no, that's fine. We just have some dishes that are unique to holiday or more served around the holiday. Not saying we can't just, so I was just wondering. So thank you.
Thank you, Muriel, you're up.
Hi, it's Mireille, actually.
Mireille, sorry.
No
Mireille.
No problem. Just a quick question, because I'm one of those overzealous people, and I already filled out the form or the spreadsheet when you guys posted it a few days ago. And just because I have a lot of other content I'm planning for that I have to do as well, I'm just wondering, because I know it told you to submit 3 recipes and you guys were going to choose one. How soon are you going to tell us which one we chose so I could just kind of start working on it?
We've changed the form since then, right? So you must have filled it before we changed it. So
yeah,
I just saw it and I was so excited. I submitted it. Sorry.
That is
thank
so
you for
fun.
being
I'm
excited about it.
Yeah, so
then I should just go to the LinkedIn and do a whole new form.
Maybe. I mean, if that's easy for you, then yes. Otherwise, I would say you select which one.
So it's not up to you guys anymore. Now we're selecting. Yes. Okay. Anyway,
yes.
My food is weird and unique anyway, so yeah.
We welcome it.
We wanted a variety, so weird and unique is great.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, any more questions from anyone? These are some great questions.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you so much. And I do just want to acknowledge Shanae did make it on the line. So just take a couple of seconds, Shanae, if you would like, just to share a little bit about your experience in participating in past collabs.
Hi guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to say sorry I'm late. I got the time wrong. Stephanie's like texting me. I'm like, it's at 7. I'm gonna be there in a few minutes. Anyway, my experience on past collabs has been completely positive. The first one I did was Juneteenth in 2020, and I was a very new blogger. I still consider myself a very new blogger, but it was an amazing experience. It was my first time being. First of all, I think it was my first time really meeting and interacting with most of you. And it was my first time sort of being exposed to just like, sort of like getting a real idea of like how blogging can be a business. It was a really good experience in that way. And then also it was just really nice to have a bit of a boost in traffic, a boost in exposure, you know, getting some more eyes on the blog. So yeah, it was a wonderful experience. I'm really excited for this. Thank you guys for setting this up.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I missed the beginning. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
Well, we did record it, so it will be available for you to watch. Thank you so much, Shanae. Sure. I know I met all of you all that was my first time participating too in a collab, and I still get boosts of traffic like from that collab. All right, and I think I saw one more question in the chat.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one too. It was from Kalisha.
Yeah, Kalisha, you want to just come off mute and ask your question?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you're going to be assigning recipe categories, because I think the last time I participated, that it was some type of setup like that, just to make sure there was like an even mix of like entrees and beverages and desserts and that type of thing.
You want to take this?
Okay. No, you take it. Go ahead.
We went back and forth on this one too. So, I mean, we're really just kind of leaving it up to you all to decide which recipe that you want to submit. But as Gio said a little bit earlier, do think about, we want a mix of recipes. And so we don't want folks to all submit like entrees, but think about, you can get wild with this. You can do drinks. You can do appetizers. Like for Thanksgiving, my family, we do a Thanksgiving brunch. So it's not necessarily traditional like Thanksgiving food, right? So really kind of think about what you want to submit. And we are still going to have categories, but we're trying to make it as easy as possible too. And just kind of let you all decide on what you want to submit.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. I think that's all of the questions.
Can I just say real quick that when we're talking about submissions of recipes, think about those unicorn recipes that you want to rank for too. Because it helps if if everybody submits a collard greens recipe, then it's kind of like, okay. But if you submit your own unique twist on collards, or if you submit, something that is unique to you, you could potentially rank higher on Google. So keep all of that in mind. Again, what Stephanie said about submitting unique recipes or something that is not something that you wouldn't necessarily think about holiday food or something that is cultural. Think of those things, unique recipes that you have all of us supporting and all of us linking back to, and then the Google juice and the search juice all helps every one of us rank, which is ultimately the goal, right?
If I can add on top of that, I would say there's that science piece, but I think this is a balance between art and science. So one, yes, think about things that you want to rank for, but this whole initiative, all of the initiatives that we have done have been about us telling our stories. And so, I want you to not only think about what you want to rank for, but things because ultimately, every collaboration I ask you, tell me the story behind this recipe. And sometimes I'm asking you, give me a quote so I can give to this article that tells me a story about this recipe. So you want to balance both of those when selecting your recipe, because inevitably, our social equity, our collective social equity will get us the exposure and get us traffic because of our participation in this. But we also want to think about, how are we authentically showing up for this particular umbrella collaboration? Because we want to make sure that for these outlets who look to us as the authority in Black food in the African diaspora, that we are able to tell unique stories that our non-Black counterparts can't tell. So just, think about that too, as you're doing your selection.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, we did an event a while back called What Black Food Is.
Yeah.
And that was an opportunity for us to kind of share the variety and the uniqueness of our culinary backgrounds. And so I think as you are kind of being strategic about what you want to present or submit, think about it from that context. And remember that E in eat is for elevate. And so we're trying to elevate the culture, right? And so there's just a lot of different opportunities for you to do it in a different and unique way beyond what people's own perception of what Black food may already be, right? And so just think about that as you're working through it.
Yes, all of that. Thank you so much for those words. Thank y'all so much for coming. Thank you for all of your wonderful questions. Y'all are hyped up to participate in this video challenge. Up your skills. I'm not the best videographer either, so I'm excited about this, excited about learning. So thank you all. So this is just the beginning of something new. The plan is to keep growing this and keep doing amazing work and just, keep doing what we do. Just keep doing what we do. So if there are no more questions, team, do you all want to add anything else before we cut out?
Someone posted in the comments that I love us, and I just feel, I don't know if you guys see, I'm just cheesing so big because I'm just so proud of where I know we can take this. So thank you guys for being excited. That totally validates all the work we've been putting in for the past few months, even though we haven't gotten anywhere yet. I'm glowing on the inside. So thank you guys for showing up, and I'm so looking forward to seeing how we execute this also.
Yeah, I would also just echo, Robin asked in the chat, do we want you to recruit other Black food bloggers? And, we answered in the chat that yes, the more the merrier. This is all about promoting and advancing us. So if you know someone that wasn't able to attend tonight, send them the link. That's why we recorded. So I also noticed someone might have missed part of it. We want to pull more of us in.
Not part of it, all of it, but it's all good.
That's all right.
I just saw the Instagram link just about 2 minutes ago.
We got you. We got the recording. All right. Well, thank you again so much for attending. Remember, we have the recording. Remember, you can go to eattheculture.com and sign up. Look at the video again if you need to. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all those good things. So yes, thank you all. Have a wonderful evening. And we will be in touch soon.
Okay, everybody.
Bye.